Oklahoma for the summer of 1969. When he returned, he was excited to be going to John C. Fremont High School.
Bulldog was the first Crip to go to jail in 1969 for the first murder.
Bulldog? That's right. Second man in command.
I've heard rumors about Bulldog starting the 77th Street Boys.
We're talking about the 77th Street Boys. This was a tough gang. It was ran by a good friend of mine called Bulldog.
So when y'all was coming up, y'all fuck with the Figueroa Boys?
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah. F.I.G.
Oh, this all
F.I.G., bro.
Thinking I'm with the Swans, right?
You know?
Bulldog started it, and it was on the side of the freeway of 77th Street Police Station. Because Raymond and them came over there to fight them, and they would fight all the time. They would fight up under the freeway. We had a Crip, and he was so down, and his name was Pretty Boy. Bulldog hit him with a machete, and it cut his cheek, so he had this little scar on his cheek. Yeah, it wasn't an ugly scar either, it was a cool scar. I said, shit, I wish I had one.
When I went to study something at Broadway, I encountered the Miles family. But now Richard Miles was the one. It seemed like everybody felt intimidated by Richard. He was a tall, skinny dude, right? But his eyes and the way he carried himself, it let you know that he cut your throat. He was no joke. Yeah, he was a leader, but the thing is that he had brothers like Juggy, that was older than him, and then Fee-Boy, older than Juggy. You know what I'm saying? These are Miles I'm talking about. They were just a big family, and everybody from that immediate neighborhood respected them, and they was like the controllers.
What can you tell me about the Figueroa Boys?
Richard Miles has one of the biggest families that occupied a big apartment complex on 77th Street and Broadway. Who eventually, that family, moved on Figueroa between 76th Street and 79th Street. And some more dudes lived. That was adjacent to each other, right? And they all occupied that. But they in turn had people on 77th Street, Broadway, and Main, like Dirt Bomb, Skipper, Moon, Hannibal, Donut, you know, and others. Black Anthony and others on 77th Street. That followed behind the leadership of Richard Miles. Later, they developed like the 77th Street Boys, but that didn't happen until after Bethune opened up. Everybody recognized 77th Street because we had Moon, Dirt Bomb, Skipper, KK, and Donut, and all them people over there, right? We had all them folks, man, but Hannibal, you know, Lil Charles, June, all them cats. But I guess we would recognize on 77th Street. Yeah, and if you want to, I'm sure that people would say it's 77th Street Boys. It wasn't like you see the graffiti. Wasn't nobody advocating that on the walls and writing this stuff all on 77th Street Boys mob. There wasn't nobody doing that kind of stuff. When Bethune opened up, me and Richard only went to walk together a couple of times before something happened. Richard got suspended and kicked out, and I had to do it on my own. So I wasn't really tight with the boys on one side, his boys like that, because those were his boys. But me and Richard was, host of another color. I would go to school and watch, and I'd be in a little fear of having to be confronted by the Broadways, right? Because they're whooping on everybody. The Broadway gang was dominating Bethune during high school. Somebody was getting stumped down every day after school. So all you do is guarantee somebody was going to get stumped down after school. We just never was no peaceful exit going to the house without some type of drama going on in Bethune. And somebody getting stumped down. I was going there when Broadway and San Pedro was first wrestling over who was going to be the dominant gang, and Broadway prevailed. They kind of like bypassed me and focused more on the San Pedros than anybody else who wasn't one of them, right? To beat up on. So they didn't really mess with me. But I still had that element of fear that one of these days, you know what I'm saying, I'm about to get down with somebody, right? And I started going back and forth, and I started linking up with Thomas Lillard and Robert Duhan. Then my boy Freddie Mingo get kicked out of Bret Hart. He ended up going to Bethune. He was a Manchester Park boy. And then David Phillips and Doodoo on 78th Street, we all started linking up and walking back and forth to school together. So we got kind of like support base. You see what I'm saying? just in case one day we'd be confronted by the Broadways. Because we was kind of like some good fighters. But Raymond Washington popped up, him and Bulldog. And me and Raymond Washington, see, the other week, we started talking, and you know what I mean? I introduced Raymond to Robert, right? Now we all get tight. Next thing you know, a lot of my people from the east side start coming over there. And we link up and start talking. We saw him coming kind of regular every day. Raymond would be across the street with us to get out of school. They got me Craig with him. Craig read I can say, well, I'm really good. I can't wait to get out. Every day they look forward to us, right? And now, not only that, they welcome me to the gym, to my house. Now, we hanging out in front of my yard. Now it's starting to be a big congregation every day, right? It started from like 6 or 7 of us to about 40 of us, and it grew. Now some of the people from 77th Street, off of Richard Miles' little, gang, so to speak, start being attracted to us, because we represent like a little powerhouse. Plus, we was calling ourselves Avenues. So we got tight. So they started coming over. But when we got around them, we had like, we're baby Avenues. Raymond came over there and introduced himself as an Avenue to all these other people. But I knew the true history of Raymond, right? But I'm the type of person I could bluff him, I could beat him. I wasn't gonna expose a thing, right? Because I grew up over there. And I knew the situation between Munson and Raymond Washington and just how much clout he had. He was wannabe. I didn't say nothing. I seen the effect it had on people on this side of town, and I seen them getting strengthened and with high hopes and desires to get closer to Raymond so they could become, they could be inducted into the same gang with Raymond. You see? And that was the hopes. We know we weren't old enough to be actual, say, Avenues, but, you know what I'm saying, we could be the younger versions, the babies. We weren't no baby Avenues, we was called Avenues. We didn't think no gang was better than Avenues. We started using the Avenues name without their permission. I was just walking to school with my boy Don Juan, who was a pretty boy. And back then, if you was a pretty boy, for some reason you had a reputation. You had to be a bad motherfucker. You had to fight, right? I had to be pretty and all the girls be around you, and niggas would protect you. You'd be popular. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. But me and Don Juan come from Russell Elementary School in Charles Judah, from the Avenue side together. You see what I'm saying? See, me and Don Juan, we was more in touch and focused with the Avenues than Raymond Washington was. You see what I'm saying? Because we are actual guys that were mentored by them. The Avenue was a big gang. Yeah, because they just had an aura about themselves, man. They was confident and getting buff was their norm, man. You know what I'm saying? Majority of them was getting there. All of them was buff. The one that weren't buff was still treacherous. You know what I mean? It's just something about them, man. They had a lot of confidence about themselves. Raymond Burns was let's go be no Avenue. None of them really, shit, they laughed at us. Actually, yeah, pretty much. Like November 69, I remember that clearly. And shit, Raymond Burns was that came up and asked us who all these little fool ass niggas you got with you. Raymond? He called Raymond. He's the fellas, man. Who's the fellas? Baby Avenue. You know, baby, what you mean, Baby Avenue? Nigga better get them niggas up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Baby Avenue, they started joking and calling each other. Hey, another guy, look. And they say Baby Avenue, right? Oh, man, we started tucking our tails and shit. When they ran us away from Fremont High School that night, and we went to Robert and Gerald Duhan's house in front of their auntie, Miss Tuesday's garage. Oh, yeah, 8:30, yeah. We had the meeting there, and not only did we just have a meeting there and became CRIPS, what we did do, in order to be a Crip, a real Crip, back then, see, we had blue rags, red rags. Every motherfucker here, if they cut their hair and shave it bald, that was a dare. Everybody cut their hair bald. Everybody. And who? Even the boys that was once the 77th Street boys and they were running the neighborhood, they cut their hair bald. You see, because we had to be something. You know what I'm saying? Well, we had told everybody, but we was Avenue. We was already imitating Victor Adams. You know, Victor Adams was one of the most reputable Avenues because he's known for that walk, you know what I mean? Prior to all that shit happening, Richard would come in my house. Now, Ain't nobody in my house but my new partners and the new guys from the east side. None of the 77th Street people, they would come, but they will walk outside and just be around the perimeter of my house, right? And every so often, I hear a gunshot. Bah! Bah! I reach outside shooting his pistol. I want his boys shooting a pistol to let us know that they patrolling their neighborhood. One day I remember walking prior to reaching Broadway is an alley. And that alley was lined up with nothing but 77th Street boys, Figueroa boys, you know, Richard Miles and everybody. There was a bunch of them. Not to jump on us, but they were observers. As we walking towards that alley, we all got our beanie hats on. So Richard calling those from our mutual neighborhood, you know, they called them to come here to holler and talk to them. And as we approach him, he snatched the beanie off, you know, one's head and say, "Oh, so you one of them niggas too now, huh?" "Oh, Richard, man, you know." And hey, say, "What's up, Richard?" I'm bald headed now, right? And I just took my hat off and said, "Yeah, man, what's up, man?" I tell you what, man, anything happened, I told you once, it's you, coming after you, right? All right, man, that's gotta be, right? And y'all ain't never got to worry about, you know, us fucking with y'all, you know, because I view you as one of us. And he in turn let me know, nigga, I ain't never worried about damn when you niggas fucking with us, right? And it was a bitter way he said it to let me know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's only a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? Shit going down. See, not only we are attracted to all the homies, the dudes, the girls like us. And ask their mamas could they have a party. Now, in the same mutual neighborhood of the 77th Street Boys neighborhood. Because in fact, it was a quarter admission. You put a quarter, you know, in person's hand, you can get in the house, go to the party. Right? You can get inside the party. The 77 boys said, "The hell with it. We got to do something about this." Instead of them letting the youngsters our age, right, come to the party and mingle with us, they get all the OG people. That's like, shit, 19 and 20. And like about 15 of them came into the party. Mind you, it's like about over 100 of us, youngsters. So now they come in our party, kind of like crashes. In other words, they come in with a bully mentality to try, I guess, spook us and make us, change our mind. Maybe we need to have our parties in another neighborhood or something like that. But that's not the way it went down. You know, I had Raymond's 38, we had a shotgun and 38. And one of their guys pushed up on one of our guys on 78. We gave a party one night on 78th Street. They pushed up a little too hard, right? The next thing you know, I guess they think nobody was gonna have the heart to do it. One guy pushed up too hard and got hit in the gut with a shotgun. Boom! Now I knew at that point, it's on. So we all just ran to my house. Yeah, blood shit. But we was able to go to school. The next day, we are going home from Bethune together. It was a market on 75th and Broadway called Butcher Boys Market. And Dave was right there still waiting for us in front on the corner like they did last time to pull our heads off our head. They waited for us further south on 75th Street. So as we walking, me, Ray Washington, Bulldog, this is Patrick Stone, Don Juan, Robert Duhan, Gerald Duhan, Bobby Farrell, Renee Whitehead, Fernando Sim, Bernard Padaway. As we walking, going towards where we dwell, I am saying, AC, you fucked up, right? And I keep walking, man, right? And we almost get by them. But they want to make sure Raymond and Bulldog heard them say this. You know what I'm saying? Punk ass lames. When they did that, Raymond Washington turned around, Bulldog turned around. So they fighting. Now everybody throwing them, right? But now, one of my boys pull out a knife, right? I don't want to say his name. But he stabbed KK, the big tall one. And Moon and everybody just ran up and left him. I said, man, don't stop him. Let's go, right? And we left. So we went to my house. Everybody's scared to walk any further because there's no risk of coming back. Not even 20 minutes. Who is it? Hey, say. I said, what's up, Richard? You just come out here and let me talk to you, man. I said, you come in the house, man, and talk to me, man. And by that time, Doo-Doo, one of us, was in my house with me. I'm out of here, right? He gonna go outside, thinking everybody gonna fuck with him. He go out my door. Let me in. I can hear him, I'm back in here and shit. I let him in, and I closed the door on him. Is that what you want me to come out there for? He said, man, who stabbed KK? KK brought that on himself. You ain't gonna come out and talk to me? Or you ain't my buddy no more? I'll tell you right now, I'll take the time. You come in here, right? You wanna come in here and talk to me? Right? So, I'm gonna see you around, man. And he left. Richard Miles wouldn't join up with us back then. And that shit started to figure out boys against the CRIPS shit. But now guess this. He done got shot by these CRIPS. I heard they called him out here and shot him 5 times in the head, so I'm over here, one special over here.
So Richard Miles ended up moving to Pomona and doing what?
They got the Miles started at 357. 357. That is like, the Miles set.
As Ray and his closest friends entered Fremont High School, this marked the beginning of the Eastside CRIPS. He writes about it in his autobiography. What year did you guys start fighting the CRIPS?
That was in 1970, May of 1970. I say April, May of 1970.
And how did that start?
Behind bullshit. There was 3 of us going to Fremont High School, 3 Apple hats. Myself, Bear, and twin, Reggie Gaither. I would have Raymond Washington and Bulldog. They were friends of mine. They call themselves the Cribs, the Baby Avenues. I walked to school with Twin and Bear and walk home and walk to and from school with them. But when I got to school, I hung with Raymond. So I'll be sitting over there with I'll be sitting over there with Raymond and Bulldog doing lunch, nutrition, breaks between classes. And Twin and Bear would walk by and say, look at those and hang over them no walking, muscle-bound fools. I tell Raymond and them ignore that shit. Raymond and them ignored it, they ignored it. And then one day, they said, got tired of it, Twin and Bear talking about it. I came outside of Fremont on St. Peter's side to meet Twin and Bear to walk home from school. I see the school police bringing Twin and Bear back inside the school. I'm in the back of the crowd. I hear Raymond and Bulldog, let's go find Elgin. I'm a little bitty fool. I'm going to let these big niggas beat my ass. They went inside the school looking for me. I hauled ass to the house. So the next day, we call them at nutrition time at Bethune Junior High School. That time they were in bald heads. We simply jumped on Bethune Junior High School, slept upside the heads and everything else. At lunchtime, when we came in the Fremont side of the St. Peter's side of Fremont, Bulldog and Raymond, they would be in the quad. So we knew exactly what it was. We came in there and we commenced to fighting in there. They broke and ran towards the football field. When we chased towards the football field, Tangeray, Freddie Clark, and Dustin McCoy and them, they came in from the Avalon side where the football field is. They came over the fence and through the gates and everything. We caught them in a pinch in the middle. We whipped their ass on the football field. About 2 days later, we sitting at the team post on 65th and Hoover, and I'm walking outside and I look down towards Florence and Hoover. I see a gang of people standing in the middle of the street down there. I looked. I said, what's this? I'm thinking an accident or something like that. And then all of a sudden I saw them getting in a military formation, start marching down Hoover from Florence towards where we were. And I knew it was the Cribs. I went back and said, hey, here comes the Cribs coming over here. So we all came outside. We got to fight. And I look up, somebody standing out. I couldn't tell who it was. I can't tell who it was. Somebody standing up and get to shooting up in the air. Then broke up the fight. Everybody got to running. So, like I say, the first bad word, the first gun pulled out, the first blow was thrown, I was there from day one.
Bulldog got kicked out of Fremont High School. Bulldog gives the address, I think, for his grandmother's house on 94th and Hoover, and that was the Washington High School district. So he attended school on the west side, which it made us all support him.
Back in the day, he had caught a case, I believe, up at Washington High, where he did some folklore. I don't have to speak on it. If you understand it and know, you know what it is.
Baba Louie stated Benny Ray Bulldog Simpson was the general in command of the many Crips that were in the main population while they were locked up.
When I came to the pen, I was a B number, so the hogs that was for me was at all A numbers pretty much, you know. He was, you know, legends and all that old stuff, you know. It was there. You know, like George Jackson, he was considered a hog. You know, and Eddie, they doing it all them caught their cases, and Bob and all those. They, you know, they actually went through there in the Bad Habit Rabbit. These are people that was there before me. And I found like
Raymond there too?
Yeah, Raymond was there. We was all in Tracy together. If you look at Raymond got a B number just like I got a B number. Mine before was 3 through 9. Raymond's got to be probably 9 or 8. Started with a 9 or 8 number. See, we all had B numbers. So we all was there together, you know. When I slid through there, you know, a couple of homies, one for sure, and I don't mention his name and nothing like that, but he was actually pushing a cold line as far as Crippin' go there. And everybody know who he is. So I would have beat, you know. But he was pushing a cold line as far as that Crippin' go. So we have followed those footsteps, man, really, you know.
Good. Big, who are you now?
You know, 71, man. Come on.
Talk about that evolution when you went from Clarence to Mad Hoover to Big. Talk about that evolution.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me clarify something right now. Clarence Hoover, the guy with the last name of Hoover, with the one O in his name, not the 2 O's. You talking about that guy? I don't wanna be confrontational or anything, but I remember the young. Yeah, it's about this though. I remember meeting that guy in the county jail, but I liked his last name. You know what I'm saying? Even though it had 1 O, and put him on in the county, and I liked him so much. It was just all body shots. You know what I'm saying?
So when we started coming through the system, it was a lot of these people still existing, and a lot of them took us under the wing, you know, and a lot of them stayed exactly true to what we were. That's why we became hogs. When we came into the system, we had already heard about these people from being on the street, into the life on the street. So what happened when we started going in the system, you know, we wanted to take on that mentality because at that time, you know, that was very respectable. You wasn't going for anything regardless, you know. He said, what's a hog, you know? And they wasn't, you know, no banging time or none of that shit. They was just wasn't going for shit, man. Not with the hacks or the corrections officers or whatever you want to call them. They weren't taking shit from nobody, period.
During that time, I think me, Billy Jack, off the east side, I know Jackie Todd, she was off the west side. It was east, west, and Hoover's went up on that first hot one that I went up for as a juvenile. And, you know, shout out, man. Our condolences to anybody that suffered from those kind of, that type of wayward thinking.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but we'll make that clear.
I caught all my cases pretty much out of Beverly Hills and Hollywood. You know, I went to some of the shrewdest courthouses that they had. So I was sitting in the courthouse and I met this dude, you know. He was a old hog, you know. And he was telling me, he said, man, I've been noticing you, man. He said, well, when you go to the pen, I said, I ain't going to no motherfucking pen. You know, I'm thinking I ain't going. You know, I was naive. how these white folks to carry me, right? But he said, yeah, when you get there, you're gonna meet some dude. They're gonna see you, ask you where you from and all this and that. They're gonna take you to the area where everybody eat at. You're gonna sit down and he said, but you're gonna start buffing iron, and you're gonna get swole. Then they're gonna start calling you Hoo. And then they're gonna stop calling you Clarence. They're gonna start calling you Big Hoo. I said, yeah, but my name Mad Hoo. My name ain't Clarence Hoo. They know about Mad Hoo. He said, nah, but that's gonna change because you're gonna start buffing iron. And he told me my whole life story. What's gonna happen to me when I went to the pen. And on my mama, everything that God told me, I went through. So when we at that county jail, it was like, wide open, and we went in there and, we was just riders. I can remember the county jail, as being shit. We come through there, we was taking tennis shoes, we was taking anything that we wanted because they really wasn't up on a lot of us at that particular time. And that 70 crew is actually the one that started like 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, all through the 70s. In that area was straight hogs. They went from module to module to module. I mean, not like 5 or 6. I'm talking about like 15, 20 deep. We was pushing up in modules and shit. Period. And that's just how it went. We was all together in that county jail, period. And wherever else we went. Because we was the only one pushing line. Period. But all that area time right there, the people that was in that area, in that county jail, is the one created all the gangbanging modules. You see, it wasn't no gangbanging modules, just one hole at that time. It was actually, it was 3 lockups as far as, what they call, you have 1750, then you have 1700, and then you had the old county jail at JJ that had a lockup over there, a high power. All 3 of these people high power, places with high power. In the old county jail at HOJJ, which was on the 10th floor. So them the only 3 actually high powers, but they had one hole in the county. And pretty much people really didn't know how old I was. They really didn't. Because I was going to juvenile hall, and I was all the way to 21 years old. They thought I was 17 and 16. You feel me? So they didn't really know how old I was because I didn't look it at the time. So that's why I was able to be in that county jail when they found out how old I was, and they sent me to that county jail, and then we all there, man. I mean, you name them. I could name any nigga from any set that was there in that era of time. And most thing I could say about that era of time, they was hogs, period. And went to the pen, and that was the format.
Washington himself was in prison for much of this time period, incarcerated for second-degree robbery.
Yeah, he went to jail in 72. They was involved in a misidentity murder, when someone had shot a Crip, and they all went to a party, and he was there. The guy that shot a Crip that was there. He was a Crip himself. But, like I say, there were so many of us that, everybody didn't know everybody. Right. So he shot original West Side Crip, and they caught him at a party and they killed him. Raymond had was just there, with the Crips, and he was found guilty. And that was in 1972.
Now, as far as my best partner, almost, rest in peace, Raymond Washington, the co-founder of the CRIPS. I think I was 18 years old in 71, and 72, I'm sorry, and I was at Tracy. I had 2 6 months to life. Back then, they would give you a life top to make sure you wouldn't make bail and all of that. So Raymond came there in about, I think he got there in about 73, and he was a likable guy. Everybody took a liking to him. He was joyful. He was playful. So, but he brought the thing into the system as the CRIPS. But Raymond was the first one up there. Now, what I really liked about Raymond is he was one of the first ones to originate families coming up to prison to see their families. He really the original one to arrange buses and things. But Raymond was persistent. And since he was a likable guy, everybody really wanted to be around him. So it was a lot of dudes joining the Crips in the prison back then. Either it was out of for protection or anything else what anybody may join a gang in prison for.
In 1972, Raymond, Bull, and Bam Bam were all in Tracy together. So they had planned to come together, once they got out anyway. They had planned this.
In A.C. Moses' book titled The Starting Lineup, Baba Louie says, Bulldog was incarcerated during the time his old neighborhood had flipped the script. At the time, I was unaware as to whether or not he knew. Prior to our brief sighting of each other in YTS, we last saw each other as Crips, prior to his 1970 or 71 conviction. I was made to believe his 3-year absence had handicapped him from being informed. It was my hidden agenda to let him know.
When he came home, he came home pushing the line with Hoover. Him and Bam Bam joined together.
We had a lot of Bulldogs from.
We had a lot of Bulldogs. That's what. Yeah, that was my.
Bulldog was a hog though.
Yeah.
He was. We used to go back to the 40s, back in the day, house 40s. Man, everybody get against the wall. Word gets going around all the group. We going to house 40, 100 deep and all that. Then word passed around amongst all the groups. Man, Bulldog can turn it off. Everybody know what to do. Everybody get against the wall. Bulldog, after we get up against the wall, he'll turn that whole 40 out by himself. He'll slap this motherfucker, he'll slap that dude, he'll punch this bro, we kick back, he'll turn all the furniture over, bust the mirrors out, and we gone.
Man.
That's what he did.
Then there was Bulldog.
Yes.
And
Now that came along a little bit later. I think I was doing time because they had told me about it. Because we stayed current even without the internet,
right,
about what was going on in the block. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So they told me. So they told me that these cats want to come over and lace up with the groove. I was like, hey, groovy. Cool.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know all the mechanics of that, but you can talk to some of the people that were out.
Joe wrote me a letter, and it was hard. It was a hard touching letter. I wasn't even expecting him to write that.
Yeah.
But people don't realize. I'm talking about Hoovers. Don't realize that, like you came from the castle. You ended up gravitating towards the 8 Trays. When Bulldog, Big Bam, and Sugar Bear all left the east side, they all went to the Tray.
To the Tray, yeah.
And I went to the 4.
Yeah.
And I left the east side, right? That's just a trip how all them went to the Tray like that.
and you went to the 4.
But Joe wrote me a letter about that, and he said when we traveled from and crossed over from the east side and came to Hoover, Joe in his letter said that's when a lot of power came to Hoover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When we started hitting the county jail, it wasn't like 4 or 5 people that was in the pen already in that era of time, and everybody know from the cases that was being committed in that era of time, especially like 70, 71, 72, and 73, 74, all around up in there, before bicentennial, all those people that was from our hood was in jail.
So you was in jail with Raymond Washington?
I was facing with him. Even when, if I went to jail for murder, everybody would tell me about.
What year was that?
73.
You're the first youth tried as an adult.
At 16. At 16.
Right. In California?
In California.
You went in 73, and you didn't get released to 81. How was Raymond Washington as an individual?
I didn't get along with Raymond. I didn't know if I get along because he didn't get along with my partner. With Ray Food. So, they were enemies, so, it was crazy. It was crazy. He was on game, but he from Compton. He from Compton, but he was good from the shoulder. And Russell was good from the shoulder, too. And then they think they had a thing up. He had a thing with my partner behind that, between those two who were the tough. He came up behind Ray Food because we going to trial and knocked him, cut
come from behind him and knocked him down in the hallway in Tracy. And so then they head up on the yard. Nice fight too. I think of it evening, man. You fight there.
As far as I remember, they had BGF, which was really controlling the prison. They had the Mexican Mafia. They had the Nazis. They had the ABs, the Errand Boys. So when Raymond came in and with the new regime that was coming up was CRIPS. At first, the Muslims didn't like it. Because we was on the yard one day and they approached him. We was all playing baseball. They approached Raymond and told him Raymond wasn't finna have that shit up in here.
And there is a whole different atmosphere among the brothers. You know, you trip, you this and that, back then, you did your thing, but anything happened with the other race, we automatically came together.
Did you associate with any BGF when you was in there?
All of them braids. When everybody told me I was going to Tracy, back in school, first everybody was shocked because of my age. Man, you going to Tracy? Yeah, man. Whoa. So I'm listening to everything. You know, I'm listening to everybody. I first get there, they put me in the hole. When I get out, I stay 8 months. I catch the murder. Go back to the hole.
Catch a murder in prison?
And never get back out the hole until my release.
The best time I learned my history was in the penitentiary, man, because when I got there, like I say, it wasn't any rips there. It was this is 70. I was 18. No, it was 72. I was 18 with 2 6 months to life. When I came up in the cell, a book came up under my door. It was a dictionary. Somebody came and talked to me about that. So either you was gonna be a BGF, or you was gonna be a Muslim, or you was gonna be a punk or a chump. Now, I never did meet George Jackson personally, but if I had, I was 2 years. I came in 2 years after he died. That's why I say when you came to prison, a book came up under your door.
That's right.
Either you was gonna pick it up or you was gonna slide it back out. I embraced it.
End up going to Tracy. They sent me to Tracy State Penitentiary. Went to the orientation unit. I go in my cell. The trustee, Tim Tender, slid a book up under my cell. I'm like, damn, somebody give me something to read? So I opened it and said, welcome to the Jama family. I closed it and threw it back up under. Jama's a black gorilla family. And I walk out my door and my homeboy Star from Grandy's, older than me, movie star, older than me, he said, I said, what's happening, man? I read that book, man, I'm BGF. I said, man, how you BGF? You older than me, nigga, and I know I'm not.
In the late 70s, the Crips and the Pyrus and Bloods was joining BGF?
No. They was entrapped into the BGF. So imagine you're a Crip or you're a Blood, you're a kid. You first from youth authority or first doing time for the first time in your life, and someone slide a book up under your cell. It was entrapment.
Okay, we had the leader, one of the top shot callers of the BGF was Cross and Chino. Cross was an old dude. Chino was like his bodyguard, but they were BGF. When them Crips started coming in, they come in with a new law. See, the old school, they want to counsel. They want to have committees. Okay, no sticking. We're going to talk about it. And the youngsters come in, we don't want to talk. Go to war. The Crips wanted to go to war. Yes.
Like when Raymond hit the joint, or Movie Star, and these cats, it was still about the Black Liberation Movement. And so at that time, it was about you being down with this blackness. And then anything contrary to that, or that wasn't paying tribute to that, then you had to stop doing that, or you just be antagonistic with that, and then you didn't know where they was coming from.
Did you see some of Raymond's partners, some of the Crips was joining prison organizations because they were scared of that organization? Or do you think they found a black ideology and believed more into what the revolutionaries were?
That's a curveball. Look what outside. If they joined the BGF, to me, it was kind of like, I don't want to say to some of y'all my friends, it was kind of like they feared them up there. But a lot of them turned Vanguard, the CCO, and all that stuff, and that's still Crip gangs up there. God, everybody else, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't go BGF way. The BGF back then was like, when I went to some LA guys, that's like mostly up north, for us, out of Oakland, Frisco,
out to, and how you from LA want to be one of these guys? It seems like they're going to use you more. But but the shot caller of the BGF once upon a time was my homie, older homie, but he went to the overkilling the police. Him and his Mud, Sue John, and Romeo went to overkilling the police. And then after that, it was more like no other guys was running it, but when they ran it, they were different. But sometimes they got peer pressure. They're like, well, I only say read the paper. I can't read no paperwork. So now, guess what? I'm no longer a bishop or a crip. I'm not these people. They tell me they got a leader, a chain of command. They tell me to stay at you my best friend. So to me, people say I don't have one, they don't use that, but if you're under a constitution, you put nothing before that constitution on me. And if your shot gonna tell you, check this out, man, we need to stab Clay. I mean, that's my homie. You gotta get to, you gotta do it. They gonna do it, they gonna get stabbed. They gonna try to do it. That was them. Because I'm like, I wouldn't want to join them. Why do I come up to lead? That's kind of like backwards.
And things like that. So it created the antagonism. But then, when the guy who is now the Supreme Commander came to prison, he was a Crip himself. Came from the juvenile team. This was Kenny Carter. And so when he became the Supreme Commander of Black Liberation Vanguard in prison,
and James Miller and I, me, James Miller, Eddie Haythorne, Kenny Carter, we were all housed on the same tier with each other in the Los Angeles County Jail in 1972. I was sentenced to a total of 15 years to life. I was convicted. I was found guilty for a second-degree murder, and I pled guilty to a second-degree murder in order to keep some people out of prison. And I was also convicted for, they said that one of the murders took place with a machine gun, and I was convicted for the machine gun as well.
And then the Vanguards came. And then that was like the thing to be, because this was the new groove to roll back that old stale thing that y'all was calling the Black Liberation Movement. But y'all was really just gangsters. Eddie Haythorne and Kenny Carter caught their case as Eastside Crips in 72. So one of these dudes becomes the Supreme Commander of the Vanguard group. You know what I mean? In fact, y'all stabbed Raymond.
When I first came to prison, when cats like Raymond first came to prison, you had to read. There was no such thing as coming to prison and just doing you.
You get to Tracy in 74. Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah. So when you and Raymond seen each other on the yard, what was that introduction? No, to be honest, when I seen him, I told you he was locked in and locked up. He got scratched by the BGF. But it was some of the Crips up there. They wasn't organized, but I knew. I ain't gonna say some of them names. They still in jail. They trying to go to board, and I don't want to mess them up. But they was so like up there, kind of wild. And I said, how can y'all be up here? And like I said, I know all the shot callers Crips. I've been raised on the script. How can y'all be up here so deep and Raymond over there in this place? I don't want to say that he probably almost hit where he was at. He got stabbed. I don't know if he was in the hole. So I said, we said word to the lieutenant and the captain that Raymond, I told him he can walk the line now. He came out and walked the line, wasn't no problem. Because they had put their stand and got him up the yard. Because he hit the yard known as that black guy that was promoting black violence in the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? The BGF wasn't for that black on black. So he got scratched a little bit. They put him in the hole. When I got there, I said, no, y'all got to tell, even though I'm not a Crip, Raymond's my homie. And so Crips is deep. I mean, you go tell word to Raymond, he get the main line. He came back to the main line, then walked the main line, came to get chairman. And the BGF was mad, they couldn't do nothing. This man is the originator of the Crip car. He don't have a place over in the hole just locked down. He wasn't scared, but back then you get hit, you gotta go to lockup. Then you gotta sign a script to get out. He got out, he walked the yard, then he parole. And that's what a lot of people don't like. I don't care what my homie said. Raymond was my friend. I've been on Raymond since before games. So we talking about since elementary school. We talking about in 66? I was 11 then, 12, 6. That's 65. I've been on Raymond since then.
In all honesty, it might be people that disagree with what Raymond, how he thought. He don't do what he do and accomplish what he accomplished if he wasn't no thinking man. You can disagree. You can disagree with what you disagree with. Right. But what we not supposed to be doing is knocking each other down like that right there.
I grew up in the penitentiary. I saw the Crippin' jump off in the penitentiary. Through my years of going back and forth to the pen, the Crips are the most notorious in the pen. The Crips made other groups come out. The BNGs, that was a group from up north. Yeah. Okay? The Crips was giving so much problems up in there that they went to BGFs and tried to hook up and make things peaceful. Because in prison when I was there, the Crips was raising so much hell with different people, especially from them boys up north. They didn't get along. So that's why they went to the BGFs, and they BGF hooked up with them. You had the BNGs, and then you have Damu.
Was the non-Crips joining BGF? Non-Crips from LA? Like Bishop, Bounty Hunter.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people that was with the Crips would join for protection. Not a lot, but a few would join because they was uncomfortable hitting their yard and all them Crips out there. So a lot of them, instead of sticking together, they would turn BGF for the protection. I don't respect that, though. I got a few brothers of mine that joined that right. They ended up with rank and everything. And I still like, man, you should, sometimes they do what they got to do. Sometimes you first time in prison, you in the yard, ain't a gang of homies up there, you see a gang of these Crip dudes that you was shooting the children on the street. I'm like, whoa, this don't say right.
Between 1972 and 1979, the number of gang-related homicides rose from 55 to 276.
Homicide is much more common amongst gang members now than it used to be, and 90 to 95% of those homicides are firearm-caused homicides. In the old days, if two of us beat up one of you, you and your group could or could not retaliate. It was pretty much an option for you. But if two of us shoot and kill one of yours, the demand character of that situation is such that you are almost bound and determined, somebody in your group, to try and repay that event, to fire back at some point. Maybe not successfully, but the requirement to do so is much greater than it used to be. So the homicide cycles on itself.
But you go to state prison in the 77, 78, and you first arrived there, and you don't have, and probably in the state of California at that time, maybe 100, 120 Crips in the state of California prison system.
So it's better to go in the hole for stabbing somebody than just lock up, PC up.
Right.
And you supposed to be a known gun, your name not gonna be respected no more.